Hi, my name is Juanita. Just had to do a little techie something here so that we wouldn't get feedback. Basically, this is my first live webinar, and it's my pleasure to be with you tonight. The topic for the webinar is titled Don't Wait, Tips for Taming the Holiday Scale. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and screen share the presentation. It's my pleasure to have you tonight. So I'm hoping that you'll stay with me till the end of the presentation. I am going to give you a couple free gifts. And just wanting to see who has joined me for this presentation. The chat box is open. And I'll just go ahead and see who is with me tonight. A couple people have showed up, and that's wonderful. And also, why did you come to this webinar? So go ahead and type in your answers. Basically, one thing that I always like to start with is just a little bit of information about myself. And I did have an aha moment, or maybe moments, when I started my college career. I started off in X-ray technology and basically found out that I absolutely hated that program. So I switched to nutrition education and have been doing that for the last 28 years and have found a very wonderful experience talking with people and sharing information and seeing them learn and adapt and change how they do things to get better health. And basically, I haven't regretted a moment of it. So let's go ahead and get started. And one thing that I'm always in shock about is how quick time flies and that it is already the holidays. So I don't know how many people have gotten their shopping all done, but Santa probably is not done yet because the 25th is a little ways away. And basically, he is making a list. But when you think of the holidays, what do you think about? What do you think the holidays should be? What do you remember as a child? Maybe what kind of traditions do you do now? What do you think of when you think of the holidays? I see here Christmas tree decorating and other assorted things here. I see gift giving. And nobody has mentioned the main topic that I'm going to talk about, that while the focus should be on family get-togethers, because that's very important around the holidays, on the festivities that happen, going to see decorations. Basically, one unwanted thing that can happen around the holidays is the weight gain from all of the celebrating with all of the food. So some people do gain more weight over the holidays. And basically what I tend to say, it's not in the how, it's all in the how to enjoy. It doesn't mean that you can't enjoy the season or the celebrations. So during this session, I plan to give you lots of practical tools and tips to help prevent the holiday weight gain, because nobody likes that. What I would have you do is take your action worksheet, and as I go through the tips, make notes about what might be helpful to you that you can apply. So food is everywhere. I go to a holiday meal, they have lots of food, work parties, after work get-togethers, If you go to work, you have treats that are sitting on people's desks. They have candies. Maybe on your own desk or your own work area, you have little snacky things and food and candy just sitting right there. So how do you handle all of these situations to help prevent weight gain during the holidays? I'm going to give you lots of tips. So tip number one, never go to a party or dinner when you are hungry. And basically when I say hungry, really hungry. If you go to a party or you go to a dinner where you're really hungry, that leads to overeating. So I could become a very ferocious dinosaur and just eat everything in sight. Always eat a snack before you go to any party, and perhaps maybe also a dinner that is out there, maybe a little snack to help hold you over. So if you're not really hungry, ravenously hungry, you're not going to overeat. Also, you're going to be a rational person when you make your food choices. So it's not you're not being driven by your hunger or your desire for food. You're going to be thinking about what you're doing. Eating should be and can be a controlled action. It shouldn't be controlled by hunger. Tip number two, don't skip meals before a party or a family get-together. Always eat your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner. This will help you have better control of your food choices at the party or holiday get-togethers. You're not going to have extreme hunger, which will lead to overeating. Avoid sitting near a buffet table or at a table where the food is laid out. Having the food so readily available can lead to mindless eating. It's really easy to eat large amounts without thinking about what you're doing with the food. Tip number four, don't linger near the buffet table when you have conversations. Move away from the table. You're more likely to get food if you stay right by the table because it is nearby. Tip number five, have a plan when you go to a party or a dinner. Don't fill up on appetizers before the main course is even served. Tip number six, think about small bites or small piece of your favorite foods instead of avoidance. If you avoid your favorite foods altogether, you could potentially overeat those foods later just because you feel deprived. So basically, if you want to have your little favorite food, your pie, your cake, your candy, have a little bit, don't deprive yourself. Tip number seven, rethink the drinks. It is very easy to drink a large amount of calories from holiday cocktails and eggnog. So drink low-calorie beverages, so water, diet drink, or even going with light eggnog to lower the calories. For water, water is a wonderful beverage. It will fill you up so that you won't be as hungry. Tip number eight, control temptations. If they have food laid out in the break room or they have candy laid out, don't walk through the break room numerous times. That is a potential gotcha. Tip number nine, don't put candy on your counter or your coffee table. I'm going to talk about what is called proximity principle. If it is nearby, you will usually eat it. So we're talking about food that is very close at hand. With this principle, since it is so nearby, you will eat it often. You will usually eat a lot of the item because it is within easy reach. The calories from these foods add up very quickly, and you may not think about it very much as you're eating these foods. Keep high-calorie foods out of sight. So because of the proximity principle, I don't want to have those foods where I can see them. You will be less likely to eat the high-calorie foods if you can't see them. And all this means you will be eating less calories by virtue of the fact that it's out of sight. Tip number 10, aim to eat 5 fruits and vegetables during the day before you choose foods that only have calories. This may help to prevent eating other foods with excess sugar and extra calories, plus you're getting your nutrition that you need during the day from your fruits and your veggies. Tip number 11, move more. A lot of times during the holidays, we don't move as much, so it is important to move more. Focus on little ways to get more activity. So you could walk during your breaks at work. While you're standing at the stove, do some knee bends or walk in place. So little activity, all of it counts. Walk in place during TV commercials. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Lift weights while you watch TV. Use soup cans or other cans for weights. If you don't have the regular weights, soup cans or other cans work just as well. Tip number 12, make sure that you set limits. When you are full and somebody is trying to push more food on you, limit is say, no thank you. Everything was delicious. I have reached my limit. Everything was great. Focus on the season, not always on the food. So that's tip number 13. Make conversation. So instead of going back for another little tidbit off of the buffet table, talk to the person next to you. Enjoy the decorations. What connections do you need to reestablish, or who do you need to reconnect with? Definitely find ways to relax. The holidays can be a very stressful time. So what are you going to do that is going to help you relax during the holiday season and not just be a bundle of nerves running around and trying to decorate and fix food and shop? Perhaps it's time to create a new tradition to focus on family and friends and not so much on food. So before we do the next tip, what I'm going to do is switch over and see if anybody has any ideas for new traditions. I remember when I was little, decorating the tree was a really big deal. And I know my neighbors are really into decorating the outside of their house. So again, what else can you do besides focus on food? Another way to lower calories is when you are preparing your food is to do recipe swaps. So instead of a certain item, use something that is lower calorie, lower fat, lower sugar, that will help to lower those calories. So tip number 14, instead of using baking chocolate, use 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Instead of using whole milk, use 1% or skim milk, because in a recipe you cannot tell what kind of milk you use. Instead of heavy cream, use non-fat half and half. Instead of regular cream cheese, use light cream cheese. Mozzarella cheese, use part skim version. And when you're baking an item or a product and you have a recipe for oil, instead of a half a cup of oil, you could use a half a cup of applesauce. For dinner parties, offer to bring a dish, a healthy choice of something. So this is tip number 15. Tip number 16, when you bring your dish, bring the written recipe to share as a way to connect and share the health. Maybe that it could be a new tradition that you start wherever you go, where you're invited to bring a dish. I know I'm always looking for new recipes. Tip number 17, practice mindfulness techniques. So I don't know if you're familiar with mindfulness, and basically that is a way to gauge hunger and also to control weight, to be more conscious of the food that you're eating. So tip number 17, eat slowly. Tip number 18, when you're eating, pace yourself with the slowest eater you are sitting with, or be the slowest eater. Tip number 19, set your eating utensil down between bites. And what this does is it does slow down how fast you are eating. So tip number 20, before you go back for seconds at a dinner or at a party, what do you think you should do? I want to practice a mindful technique with this. Let's see if anybody wants to give this a shout out, chat out. Before you go back for seconds, wait 10 or 15 minutes to gauge your hunger. Don't just rush back to the buffet table. Don't just rush back and get seconds. The other thing that you can do to help yourself feel fuller is to drink a glass of water. But wait the 10 to 15 minutes before you go back for your second serving. And if at that point you are still hungry, perhaps get vegetables instead of the other heavier calorie type dishes. Tip number 21, invest in some toss away food containers. So when you throw a party and you have leftovers, what happens with those leftovers? What if they stay in your house? What happens? Well, I'm going to tell you what happens to the leftovers that stay in my house. I eat them, and probably those aren't the best choices for me. So use the food containers to put the extra food in and send it home with your guests. Then you don't eat it. This is similar to the proximity principle. Remember the proximity principle I just talked about a little bit ago. If it's close by or in your house, you will eat the food. If that food, however, is not in your house, you're not going to be tempted by it and you won't eat it. So you're not going to have those extra calories. Eat your food off of a salad plate instead of a regular dinner type plate. You will eat less food. This decreases the portions of the food you eat. This decreases the calories. Any questions about holiday tips? What tip would you add to your list, focus on to help you prevent holiday weight gain? And I would say limit yourself to maybe one or two tips, maybe things that maybe you've had issues with in the past. Write those on your action sheet or your worksheet that I've given you. It does give you a place to do some problem solving with that. What might get in the way of you doing that tip or that action? What would you do to overcome that issue, that barrier? Who could help you with that? Perhaps your family would be okay with you not bringing in regular desserts or having regular eggnog this season. Maybe they wouldn't even notice. So again, use that action sheet, that worksheet as a tool so that you can do some problem solving so that we don't end up with the 1 pound, 2 pound, or 3 pound weight gain that typically happens over the holidays.